Welcome to Central News, I'm Hilary Entwistle. In today's news, Bay of Plenty secondary school students have the chance to compete in a mashup technology competition. The Trustpower Mashup competition is being held on April the 13th and 14th, where secondary school students have the chance to create a web page that combines data from 2 or more sources to create a new service. Simon Clark of Trustpower says that students get the opportunity to work alongside mentors, and in the past the mentors have walked away learning the most from the younger generation.
So the Trustpower Mashup Awards will be held on the 13th and 14th of April here in Tauranga at the Bongard Centre over the course of a weekend, where secondary school kids will get together and create a wonderful mashup website to showcase their technical ability and eat lots of pizza.
The drought has not stopped farmers from recruiting staff, says the CEO of Federated Farmers. Connor English says whatever the weather, farmers still need good keen workers. Scattered rain forecast during the next week will be welcomed, but it won't be enough to break drought conditions, says Minister for Primary Industries Nathan Guy. Fonterra's announcement it will be increasing milk solids payout and early advance payments means early cash flow of around $100,000 for the average farmer, which will help with extra cost feeds created by the drought. A record number of used and reused books have been flying off the shelves this weekend at Tauranga Rotaries Club annual Easter book sale. In its 26th year, the sale, regarded as one of New Zealand's largest second-hand book sales, saw a record 75,000 second-hand books collected for the event. Tauranga Rotary Club President Mark Dean says the 3-day event held at the old Foodtown supermarket on Cameron Road is the best book sale the club has ever hosted. New state-of-the-art operating theatres and cardiac catheterisation interventional suites open soon in Hamilton at Waikato Hospital's $130 million Mead Clinical Centre. And when they do, more than 100 people will boast brand new jobs in health at Waikato District Health Board. They include positions for registered and enrolled nurses, nurse educators, healthcare assistants, anaesthetic technicians and sterile supply technicians. Doctors and anaesthetists have already been recruited. The Midland Territory Hospital's latest facilities will feature a new advanced hybrid theatre catering for specialist procedures and trauma, as well as minimally invasive interventional services equipped with an array of the latest technologies. Waikato and Thames Hospital's Group Manager Mark Spittle said this was a remarkable opportunity for a wide variety of health professionals. Now for our region's weather, Hamilton, your Wednesday will be mostly cloudy with the chance of a shower. Your expected high is 25 and an overnight low of 14. Tauranga, a few showers and northerlies. Your expected high is 23 and an overnight low of 17. Just ahead, Creative Tauranga. Welcome to Central News on TV Central. It is that time again when we catch up with the lovely natives of Creative Tauranga. I caught up with them to find out about all things creative. So Tracy, what's happening with the Harry McCleary statues?
Oh, fantastic, Hilary. We're at the stage now, I think, where we've got about 5 of them completed. So we've got Harry McCleary, Hercules Morse as big as a horse, Snitzel von Crum with the very low tum, Bitsa Maloney. Who am I missing?
Muffin McClay.
Muffin McClay, just, you know, all that hair and running, so he looks absolutely stunning. Yeah. So I believe Brigitta's working on Zachary Quack, the little duck, at the moment. So they're coming along fantastic, yeah.
Why should people start sponsoring these and get in behind this project?
Well, there'll be a legacy for Tauranga and for New Zealand. It's a celebration of literary arts. You know, they're very well known worldwide. It's a great opportunity to have your name on the project for 100 years plus. That's how long they'll be on our waterfront. And it's a fabulous project to put some money behind that's actually creating something for New Zealand and a tourism interest, and yeah, the ongoing support of the literary arts, you know, with publishing and that sort of thing all changing to ebooks and everything else, and the message that we still need our children to read and how important the literary arts are, I think it's a fantastic project to support.
Yeah. What's happening at the Historic Village?
The Historic Village has some space available at the moment for artists and, you know, dance groups. Anyone that's got a little bit of a need in the creative sector for some space should give them Janie Hyde a call down at the Historic Village and have a chat, and there may be some room down there for them at a very reasonable rate that they can use for their particular project.
Now the summer is over, supposedly. How was the summer trade at the cargo shed?
Fantastic, actually. They've had a boom at summer trading. It's been fabulous with the new stallholders that have come in, that sort of thing. And winter's approaching, so we're actually looking at a bit of change again, keep things moving along down there, and still trying to work on that one-stop shop destination for funky, creative, you know, arts and crafts and that sort of thing. So there's a new cafe down there, the Flux Espresso Bar, absolutely divine. They have obviously coffee and drinks and a few little home bakes, and there's some treasures in there that people might like as well. So yeah, get along there.
And will you look at doing the extended hours over the winter?
Possibly. We're just going through that now. So the more support the shed gets, obviously, the more we'll keep it open. So we'll see how that works going forward. But with this extended nice weather and more activity on the waterfront, that side of things, it makes sense to keep the shed open.
Yeah. So what's on at the gallery this month?
Oh, at the moment we've got a art of photography exhibition, which is a fine arts photography, a collective group of photographers, like the one behind me that you can see is by Martine Jefferson, and the photography with a difference where they've been digitally enhanced and added colours and textured layers, which is quite gorgeous actually. And then coming into the gallery will be Avalon, which is an organisation out in Tauranga, and they have a mixed...
They do. It's
a mixture of bits and bobs that come in, and all the students make, or their pieces, I suppose. There's art, there's craft, there's cushions, there's...
I think it's called Creativity Through Disability.
Yeah, that's the one I'm looking for. Yeah, gorgeous things. We always buy up.
We do.
We do.
Tarnish Frocks and Divas is very close. How can we get involved with that?
Well, it's really exciting. We've just had all our auditions for singers, dancers, actors and models. That was fantastic. We have an open designer section actually, which would be very cool to enter. We have two sections, the open and the student Legacy Trust student open section. And the open designers, you can take a men's suit and make it into an awesome traveller's outfit. And the students is Petticoat Lane. So they can get petticoats and do whatever they will with them. And then, of course, if you want to get involved, just register online if you want to be a volunteer, because there's many roles. So, yeah.
So what is the next exhibition that's coming up at the gallery?
And next month we've got Yosh Kafura, which is what is he? We were talking about this. He's like a multicoloured, and he paints celebrities, like Audrey Hepburn, Marilyn Monroe, Jimi Hendrix, to name a few, and they're just massive. They're a bit contemporary, bright, beautiful colours, and we've actually moved quite a few before. They're kind of a collector's piece, aren't they?
They are very much so.
Why should artists get involved with Creative Tauranga? What can you do for them?
Well, what we can do for them is we actually have Angela McKenzie, who's our gallery curator, but she also does artist development. And one of Angela's really great skills is in marketing. So she can help them to market, see where they can put their projects. We connect them to people that can help them. We have exhibition opportunities, we have workshop opportunities. It's just really, and also just connecting with us. We know that they're there, and
it grows from there.
Yeah, it does.
Visit creativetauranga.org.nz to find out more, and if you would like to donate towards the Linley Dodd sculptures, ANZ Bank branches have donation boxes. Coming up next, we find out more about the high New Zealand dollar. Welcome back. There has been a lot of discussion about the high New Zealand dollar recently. I found out what this means for New Zealanders from our financial expert.
Yeah, quite a big area of discussion, but at its highest level, what it means is that for businesses in New Zealand who export, it means that they're going to suffer in terms of that high dollar, because it costs more for importers offshore to buy our product. So, it's quite detrimental to our New Zealand-based, manufacturing businesses, even the likes of Fonterra, our agricultural, quite a large amount of what we do in terms of local production and export is adversely affected by the high dollar. Now, just to finish that sort of discussion off, conversely, for a lot of New Zealand business who are importers, it's fantastic, clearly, because they have much stronger buying power based on the stronger New Zealand dollar. So there's always this push-pull kind of effect on a high New Zealand dollar. So that's on a pure business-to-business basis. The little complicator, I suppose, you overlay with that is, and what hedges that effect to a degree, is the commodity pricing. So, like world commodity pricing at the moment, or in terms of how that's flowing, it has spiked as well. So that subdues the effect, if you like, to an extent, of the high New Zealand dollar, because there's a higher price to buy our export-based products. So there is some upside to those to the effect of the actual high New Zealand dollar. If you take our best example of that with Fonterra, it's a global-based business. It has three main factors to consider: is our New Zealand dollar when we export, when it exports its product, commodity pricing that sits over that, but also they hedge against currency as well. So they have three key factors to put into the mix, if you like, in terms of what those impacts how they'll affect their bottom line. So it's not a very simple, not a straightforward or simple effect to really cover off. Outside of that, it does have peripheral ripple effects into the local economy, which has been documented around what the Reserve Bank's going to do, because because of the strong New Zealand dollar, we are actually seen as a better place to invest on offshore, which continues to impact that process, because more money comes in, invest local in New Zealand, and we're seen as a safe haven, and that helps to strengthen our dollar on some basis as well. So the government's got to factor all this thinking in terms of what it does to try and put tools, or use their tools to help moderate some of these effects, which is no easy game. And in terms of the bank, the base rate, in terms of the 90-day bill rate that they can affect and what they set it at, it's quite a blunt tool to then to start to moderate or affect things like our dollar and what have you. It's something they've tried to avoid and let the market forces play a bigger role. And to this point, they have still steered away from using their tools and mechanisms to try and change or reshape the high New Zealand dollar or the like.
So why can't it be just as simple as people exporting their product for less?
Well, in fact, they've essentially it almost has to be the opposite of that, because what I would say prior to answering that question is what New Zealand businesses have done well through the global financial crisis, and in general through competitive forces, have really revisited their cost structures, their manufacturing processes, really invested in that to make sure they're lean and mean and efficient to be able to compete on the world stage. So I think we need to acknowledge the fact that New Zealand businesses have really adapted well to the extent they can. The strong New Zealand dollar is more out of their control, but as I said earlier, they almost have to prove their price proposal in terms of upping that price to take into account the effect of our stronger New Zealand dollar, rather than trying to reduce its price, because all that does is going to lower their margin, lower their profitability, and it's always harder to claw that back, as opposed to trying to demonstrate our value proposition and push our prices up, our commodity prices, because higher commodity prices will actually help offset some of that effect.
What are your predictions if the New Zealand dollar doesn't come down?
Yeah, look, I tend to, as part of what I get involved in and get invited along to a lot of what the economists are seeing on the space. Look, I don't think anyone's got that crystal ball quite clear just yet. They don't, I think the Reserve Bank and the economists just don't know where this is going to head and at what point they'll look to intervene. At this point, and I don't think there's any anticipation of doing so, that the intervention program via the Reserve Bank isn't going to occur in the next 6 to 12 months. So really, I think the general consensus is that market forces will continue to determine how our New Zealand dollar performs.
What are some good tips for the general public to surviving a future with a high New Zealand dollar?
It's pretty limited, to be honest. Again, market, in an open market, market forces are going to dictate all of these things. So, given our size, location, and all of those normal things, our ability locally to really push the dollar to where we think it sits best is very difficult for us to control. You go back to the Reserve Bank and using some of its blunt tools like it did way back in the 80s and so on, which wasn't very effective at all. So I think we're just going to have to look to be innovative in how we adapt within our high New Zealand dollar environment.
Just ahead, goodness grows here. If you have just joined us, welcome to Central News. Te Puke has a new tourism campaign named Goodness Grows Here.
It's a marketing campaign headed by a new brand for Te Puke Goodness Grows Here, that tries to encapsulate our entire value proposition for the region and to promote that in such a way that we can drive economic diversity and economic growth.
Why did you choose the name Goodness Grows Here?
Because it's the most succinct way of describing what we actually do in Te Puke. So the unique combination of soil and climate, the ability to build industry, which has been happening here since 1830, generally produces goodness.
What makes Te Puke soil so special?
Volcanic ash soil, which is quite unique to our particular microclimate, if you like. High sunshine hours, high rainfall, invigorating winter frosts, the moderating impact of the Pacific Ocean, which is just a kilometre or so away from where we are today, provides this unique climate and the ability to grow superfoods. So we see that as being something that's different and unique for Te Puke, and we want to promote that concept.
Now, you're hoping to attract businesses to the Rangiuru Business Park as part of the campaign. What bit of the campaign actually focuses on that? 250
hectares of industrial zoned land, and the key strategic benefits of Rangiuru are that it's on the Tauranga Eastern Link motorway. So when the TEL is open, it will be a 20-minute journey from Rangiuru to the Port of Tauranga. That's a huge benefit on a 4-lane highway. It's in the centre of the Bay of Plenty, so we have access to a labour pool in Tauranga, Te Puke, Rotorua, Whakatane, Kawerau. The land is actually proven to be suitable for industrial use because currently we have the AFCO meatworks and we have 2 post-harvest packing operations here. And so if we can actually attract industry, and that's why our biofuels concept is so important, because that would anchor new industry, it would kick the park off. We could actually create quite a lot of diversity away from our backbone of dairying and horticulture. So it's location, it's access to the labour pool, and the surrounding infrastructure is also important. So we have schools, we have affordable housing, we have services like doctors, medical facilities, professional services, shopping. All of those things that you need to support growing industry are already there.
How are you hoping to attract business to the actual town centre of Te Puke?
Okay, well, the town centre value proposition is more than just us saying, look what we're doing. We have a new link from the existing main road to Jubilee Park with a heritage walkway, a heritage plaza, a new playground, a new supermarket under construction. But it's actually more than what we're currently doing and planning to do. It's our ability to say to prospective new retailers and or products and services, if you come to Te Puke, here we are. We're creating a vision for the town centre to look different, better traffic flow, better parking, a mix of retail and residential. And we're saying this is a real boutique, funky place in very close proximity to Tauranga Rotorua, easy to get to. So why don't you be part of this new funky feel, if you like, and look to bring your business here.
Tell us about the biannual magazine.
Okay, so it's a new magazine called Te Puke Goodness Grows Here. We'll produce it at least 2 times a year, if not 3. And the first edition, which is out now, is a 44-page glossy magazine. It tells the story of where we are located, who we are, how we got here, what our history is. It talks about all of the different communities in Te Puke, so that includes the Papamoa Hills, the Te Puke Township, Paengaroa, Pongakawa, Makatu, Pukahina, Otamarākau, Te Mātai, etc., and how all of those little individual communities make up this region of ours. And then it talks about the opportunity with the Rangiuru Business Park, with the new town centre, and it particularly talks about our opportunities to grow our tourism business in Te Puke. So the magazine's a great tool to be able to tell our story locally, nationally and internationally. And the first magazine, which is, as I said, been printed, is now being distributed across the globe.
What are you hoping to actually gain from launching the magazine?
Well, 2 things to start with. Number 1, we want the local people in our region to actually feel good about the story because it is their story. And we want them to tell everyone that they speak to and come across the story. So in one sense, the first part of it is to actually get the people of the region believing in it and understanding it and wanting it to succeed. The second part is to use it as a tool in which we can communicate our story and raise our profile.
Tell us about some of the superfoods that there are in Te Puke.
Okay, well, we're very strong in the Te Puke region on dairying, so we produce high quality dairy products. We have about 5,000 hectares of kiwi fruit, producing $400 or $500 million of export income from Te Puke, which is taken to the world, packed in Te Puke, grown in Te Puke, packed in Te Puke, sent from Te Puke to the port and exported to the world. We have avocados, we have other citrus. We have this amazing ability to grow superfoods. And we also have, of course, Manuka honey, which is now centrepiece of Comvita's business, and that's a growing business, publicly listed company, and we have soon to arrive the new Experience Comvita tourism attraction, which will open towards the end of the year. So kiwi fruit, dairy, Manuka honey, they're all superfoods.
Visit tepuke.co.nz to find out about all those exciting things happening in Te Puke. That is the news for today. We really want you to be involved, so like us on Facebook and let us know your views. If you have news including your own video and photos, go to our website and hit upload. Thanks for joining us. I will be back tomorrow night with more guests from in and around the regions. I'm Hilary Entwistle. Have a lovely evening.
This has been an Alpha Media production, a division of Television Media Group.
Supporting local content so you can see more of New Zealand on air.